कुछ कुछ होता है कि फर्स्ट हाफ में भले ही इनका प्यार अधूरा रह गया हो, पर हमारी ऑडियंस ने इन्हें पूरा प्यार दिया है. Well, I've always been her fan, but ever since I met her on Sunday Brunch, I've realized there isn't much difference in her on-air and off-air personality. Let's welcome the lively, vibrant, and sparkling actress of Bollywood, Kajol, once again on Sunday Brunch. Hi Kajol, welcome back to Sunday Brunch on Curly Tales. So good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
You know, last time बहुत मजा आया था when you, me, Ajay had met during the promotions of Tanaji. That was exactly a year ago. And the episode on Sunday Brunch is the most viral video in our series. You know, it got 20 billion views. You know, people were so excited to see the two of you together.
Well, I can't share a breakfast with you today, so that's out of the question.
Well, of course, so a lot has changed since then. कब तक थे आप हाउस अरेस्ट में?
काफी वक्त से. I think 6 महीने में से मैं हाउस अरेस्ट में हूँ. From March, I think till nearly August. And now I'm here in Singapore. So उसके बाद I think Singapore थोड़ा खोला हुआ है, तो हम थोड़ा बहुत बाहर जा सकते हैं यहाँ पे. इतनी ये नहीं है.
Okay, good. So the entire family right now is in Singapore?
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. I'm the only one here. My husband, my son in Bombay right now. So only me and Nissa over here because Nissa is studying here. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you had mentioned last time around how much you like going out and Ajay likes being at home. So during the lockdown, I'm guessing for him it was party time. But what about you?
Honestly, I like going out once in a while, of course, but I'm really happy with my own company. So I love my reading and I love my cerebral pursuits, as you would say. So I love reading and I love like sitting, and I'm quite a little this thing when I love like I can sit and read for like hours and hours on end, and I love working out all by myself without anybody there. Yeah, I'm good actually. I was still okay. In fact, the person who really got affected was Ajay because he's so used to going out and working. And there was no work. There was absolutely no work. So he had to stay at home and just, I don't know, do everything that we do at home and chill. And chilling is beyond him. I think he really has to struggle to chill.
Was it Ajay still making khichda for you?
Not at all. Yes. Definitely, no two ways about it. He didn't make khichda, I have to say, during this entire lockdown. According to him, he's like, I'm too depressed to make khichda. I need to make khichda when I'm happy. Khichda doesn't come to me when I'm feeling depressed and I'm feeling down. So I was like, okay, I get that. I really get that. But I think the one thing that we all missed was, having food that was not made at home. Yeah. I think that's the one thing that we all missed. But it was good fun. I have to say, we spent so much quality time together, and despite the fact that we've been married for so long, etc. Somehow that was just this enforced closeness, for months and months on end. Normally he's like out of the house working, or he's like on an outdoor for 20 days in a month. So we meet each other, but not as much as, we spent not as much time as we would spend with each other during the pandemic. So it was quite a little learning experience for both of us.
Well, a lot of people are saying that lockdown has been a testing period for a lot of relationships because couples were close together. So how was it between you and Ajay? Yeah. Were you guys like fighting or still becoming even more lovey-dovey during this period?
I think you can't become more lovey-dovey during this period. It's physically impossible to become more lovey-dovey during this period. And no, we didn't kill each other. But I think the most important lesson that we learned is that we are very happy that we have 4 bedrooms in our house, and that each one is associated with that each person has their own like space to sit and chill in, where they can shut the door and lock everybody out whenever they feel like it. I think that was the biggest lesson that we learned. And I think the most important thing was that we all as a family, there's a certain way you gel together, that when you're in 24/7, when you're 24/7 with each other, it's a different kind of gelling completely. It's a different kind of gelling. You without even looking at the person, whether that person has woken up in a bad mood, had a good night, everything. So I think it was a different kind of getting to know each other, really.
Absolutely. अच्छा सच बताना, have you been scared of the virus or have you been carefree? चलो छट यार जो होगा देखा जाएगा types.
नहीं नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं. I think more that I'm not so scared of the virus, honestly. But my son is quite young. My son was what, 8.5, 9, and my mother-in-law lives with us as well. तो अपनी खुद के लिए इतनी परवाह नहीं थी, लेकिन बाकी के लोगों के लिए बिल्कुल जरूरी था कि हम सब थोड़ा सा ध्यान दें, और थोड़ा सा नहीं, बहुत ध्यान दें, because you don't want anybody that you love to be affected by it. I wanted to be able to go see my mother, and I miss her. I really miss her. So that was one of the things of the pandemic, that you really miss all the people around you. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I went back to our old Sunday brunch, Kajol, and we had over like 15 to 20,000 comments both on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to read out a few comments, and it'll be great if you can react to them.
Cool.
Yeah. So we have Anis Rahman who's saying, the way Kajol feeds her husband, it's so adorable. It clearly shows how their life is going and how they love each other, absolutely made for each other.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I don't know whether we're made for each other, honestly, but we try very hard to be each other's partners, and I think that's the effort counts.
Okay. Raman Kumar is saying, Kajol is totally a wife kind. No one will get bored with this type of a partner.
Boredom, no, I don't think that I've ever had any complaints on boredom part of it. But I think that I'd like to be called as a friend as well, not just a wife. Yeah.
Okay.
That's boring.
We should also get Ajay's reaction on this, though.
I think he'd agree with me 120%. No two ways about it. I think being friends matters, especially during the pandemic. Being friends matters. It matters that you can turn around and just say, "Shut up, keep your mouth shut," whenever you feel like it. Yeah.
Okay. Then we have a comment coming in from Senora Attractive. She says that I was sad when I grew up and found out that Kajol and SRK weren't married.
How sad is that? But I have to say that that's something that a lot of people have told me. But Shah Rukh is really cool, and he's one of my friends, and has been for a very long time, and will be, touch wood, hopefully for a very long time as well.
Okay. Sheila is saying that she's not allowing him, which means Ajay, to talk at all. Gosh.
Allowing? Oh, please. Oh, please. I mean, hello, can you please give a little bit of input on this? Didn't you have to prod and push and literally, of course, to make him say anything on set?
No, he's really sweet. And I think at least in this interview, the last time when we met, he was very participative.
Yeah, he was, I have to say.
Vijaya is saying, this is the last comment. Keep aside Saif, Kareena, Abhishek, Aishwarya, Deepika, Ranbir. I really like these two. Simple, happy, cool couple. And I see everybody likes Kajol.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I would like to believe that Ajay likes me as well. not only everybody else, but thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure these guys are going to be very excited to hear the response coming from you. So, Kajol, let's talk about your future projects. What's lined up for you?
Well, I have Tribhanga releasing right now on the 15th. Actually, it's coming out on Netflix. So please go watch it. It's an intergenerational film. It's a film about mothers, daughters, grandmothers, and it's about how relationships can go very, very wrong, and still at the end of the day, you're mom and daughter, and you have this umbilical cord that is never going to get cut. And whatever happens at the end of the day, you have to resolve your problems because she's your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I did see the promo of the film. The dynamics of relationship between you, your mom, you and your daughter, totally opposite. How is it in your real life? How different is your relationship between you and your mom versus you and your daughter?
Me and my mom have a fabulous relationship. We just have a great relationship because I feel that my mother and me, I tell her this quite often. I was like, you must have been some king and I must have been your first general or something like that in command. So we've spent lots of times I feel like I've spent like lifetimes with her, literally. And I really, really deeply respect, as a parent, I deeply respect the upbringing that I had as a child, which allows me to be the kind of parent that I am to my own daughter. I'd like to believe that I'm my daughter's friend. I am most of the time, not when I'm telling her to eat food and not when I'm telling her to get back home on time. But otherwise, yes, I'd like to believe that we have a nice, good relationship. I like her as a person. I think she's funny. She's cool. She makes me roll on the floor laughing. And yes, I do go to her for advice. So yeah, we have a good relationship.
Right. You know, all mothers say, जब तू माँ बनेगी ना, तब तुझे पता चलेगा. What was your moment when you
Bilkul.
realized what it takes to be a mother?
I wanted to be a mother from the time that I was a child. I wanted to be a mom. That was my aim in life. Yeah, I wanted to adopt a child when I was 8, then when I was 12, then when I was 18, and then finally I was just like, okay, forget it. When I was 18, I was just like, when my mom said no when I was 18, I was disheartened and I just decided to have my own whenever that was.
Wait, you wanted to
But
adopt a child at the age of 8?
Yeah, so I wanted to adopt a child, and I had this huge discussion with my dad as well, and my dad agreed. My dad said, "Yes, baby, whatever you want, baby." And then, of course, my mom was like, "Shut up, keep quiet. I'll have to raise a child. This is not happening." So basically, I wanted to be a mom from the time that I was very young, and when I eventually had my own daughter, I think she must have been about 2 or 3 months old at that point of time, and I was in a daze. First 3 months, I was like in a daze. I don't even remember those first 3 months clearly, to be very honest. But I remember after when she was around 3 months old, I remember calling my mom up and just calling her up and just like breaking down and telling her that, oh my God, mom, I never understood what all you did for me. I never understood how much you loved me. I never understood how difficult it was to burp me and, to be awake with me. And I just never knew how much you loved me. I just didn't understand it. And, and you were right. I would not have understood it till, I had my own daughter. And every time I say that to her almost in every conversation that I have with her that, I'm so lucky that you taught me these things. I'm so lucky that I have this almost like a roadmap in my head as to what I want my children to understand from me or to take from me to be better adults.
So a lot of realization happens after you become a mother. But as a child, how was
Definitely.
your mom has been working throughout your childhood? You did have to deal with your parents' separation as well. How was that phase for you?
Well, my mom was absolutely amazing. I think that she handled it beautifully. She and my dad both handled us, I think, amazingly. Both of us, Tanisha and myself. I remember my mom sitting me down and having this conversation with me because I was like, why do you guys have to live apart? And I must have been about 5.5 at that point of time. And I was like, I want to go back. I want to live with dad. I don't want us to be living here and I want to go back and all that. And I remember her telling me this line because it really stayed with me. And she was like, we're better people when we're apart. Don't you want us to be better people? And I was like, I remember as a child thinking to myself that, she's right. I do want you to be better people. And I totally got it. There was no argument after that. And I remember my mom and dad both telling me that, it doesn't matter whether we are separated or not. For you, we will always be together. And unfortunately, I could not even pay them off against each other because of that very reason. There was no way that I couldn't even tell my mom that, oh, dad, let me do this or anything like that. My dad and my mom were like one as far as all the decisions in my life were concerned. So yeah, I think they were both my mom and dad both handled us absolutely brilliantly.
Right. Now, Kajal, I'm a mom and I know that kids can sometimes say certain things that can hurt you. And we would have probably said that to our parents as well. Is there's anything, sometimes kids back answer or say something nasty.
Yeah.
How do you react?
Oh, kids say a lot of nasty things. They don't just say sometimes. It happens like on a much more regular basis. Let me tell you that. But I think most of it stems from a weird place of honesty, and I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can take exception to it. I remember my son actually. I remember firing my daughter for not wanting to sit with me or something like that. And I don't come in here and sit with her and this and that. She's like, I don't want to. And I was like, no, come here, sit here. I was firing her and she came and she eventually sat down with this sulky face and she got up and went off. And my son turned around, 5 minutes later and he was just playing with my hair and he's like, Mom, you shouldn't fire Nissa for telling the truth. And I was just like, oh my God, you shouldn't fire her for telling the truth. I'm not telling you the truth, but she's telling you the truth. You shouldn't get angry with her for telling you the truth. And I got completely like, I was like hit upside down. My whole world turned like literally tilted upside down. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. And I wouldn't say that I've never done it again, but but I think whether it's something to do with me personally, or whether she's being malicious about it, or whether she actually is just genuinely being just honest about it.
Right, right. So clearly, kids can give you some life lessons as well. Have they seen any of your movies
No two ways about
holidays
it.
and any comments that they have?
Both of them have. Yog has seen. He's seen Tanaji. He's seen. What else has he seen? He's seen one or two of my films. Two of my films, maybe. My daughter has seen more. Obviously, I've subjected her to quite a few of my films.
Okay.
So according to me, according to both of them, they don't like my films because I cry too much in them, and they don't like seeing me cry. So they find it very like they're like, why can't you be like more like Papa and do films like Golmaal and all? Why do you have to do these sad films where you're crying all the time? I don't understand it, and I don't want to watch any of your films where you're crying all the time. So that makes it for they're very picky about the films that they want to watch.
Now, DDLJ has a cult following, and if there was a remake of this film, who in this generation do you think can pull off as Raj and Simran?
Honestly, I don't believe in remakes. I truly think that DDLJ was the kind of film that it just kind of happened. It's a phenomena. It really is a phenomena. I don't know whether we also would be able to make DDLJ again, as and I think that DDLJ is something that we haven't made. It's something that's something that all these fans over the years have made. They have made it into what it is today. We made a good film and we released it, and all these amazing fans all over the world made it, exactly what it is today, and passed it down from generation to generation to show their kids, to say, you must see this film. And I've had people come to me and they've said that, oh, I made my kids sit and watch it and made my grandkids sit and watch it. And I was like, oh my God, is it that old? But yeah, so I don't believe that we have so much of a hand in making the film what it is today. So I don't think it can be replicated, honestly.
Okay. I'm going to check your memory, Kajol, before we wrap the show. I'm going to play a game.
It's very bad. Please don't.
It's your own dialogues from your old.
I give up. I have very good short-term memory loss. I remember the dialogue, I say it, and it's over, and it's scrubbed out of my mind completely. I leave place for the other more important things in my life to remember.
Ek da vadda dil.
Duje de vadde bill. Only because I've done it before. Only because day before yesterday I had to say the dialogue again. Okay, continue. कुछ होता है तुम नहीं समझोगे राहुल. That I got.
ऐसा पहली बार हुआ है 17-18 सालों में कोई अनदेखा अनजाना आ गया or something no अनदेखा अनजाना I remember. Okay. Okay, not bad.
I told you my short-term memory loss is really, like I said those dialogues and I haven't watched the film in God knows how many years. So the fact that I even remember this much is really saying a lot for my memory, really.
Okay. Finally, ours is a travel platform, Kajol. So just want to know, everybody's going to Maldives. Where are you planning to holiday next? You are in Singapore right now. What future plans?
Yes, and I'm planning to holiday in my living room with Tribhanga, watching it with my family, hopefully.
Okay. Look forward to that, 15th of January. Thank you so much, Kajol, for sparing time, chatting with us, joining us once again on Sunday Brunch. Next time we'll have it over fish and chips.
Yes, definitely. I'll be having fish and chips where I am, and you'll be having fish and chips where you are.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.